In this training, we're going to talk about the be, do, have principle. Now, you may have heard this before, or you may have heard it in a slightly skewed way. If you have heard this before, we're going to do some really powerful subconscious reinforcing. If this is your first time hearing this, or if you have been introduced to this concept in a backwards way, we're going to clarify and we're going to clean that up so you can start to use this principle and a really clear understanding of it to your advantage. So if you've been around me for a while, you know that I have my master's degree in metaphysical science. A lot of people misunderstand what metaphysics is, and they tend to have some very dysfunctional ideas about what metaphysics means. If you are leaning towards metaphysics is this woo-woo thing that is not based on any type of science, I can assure you that the study of metaphysics and my background in metaphysical science is looking at what has previously been misunderstood as mysticism or even spirituality, and thinking that it has no basis in reality as we know it, and beginning to put the pieces together. So we know from quantum physics, we know from the more recent understandings of science and neuroscience that there are, in fact, explanations for why things happen the way that they do. Now, within this sort of realm of metaphysics, we tend to have this disorganized view of this be, do, have principle. So if you're really honest with yourself, I'm sure you've been guilty of this yourself. Most people have, but certainly you've seen it prevalent in marketing, in trainings, within your family, the way people think, the way people interpret how life works. Let me give you a really basic example of this that is literally borderline cliche. When I have XYZ, fill in the blank, when I have the money, when I have the new contract, when I have the new car, when I have the big fancy house, then I will be happy. That is taking the principle and skewing it. It doesn't work that way. Okay. So the be, do, have principle is basically saying I have to be within myself. I have to embody certain beliefs, certain expectations, certain basically subconscious programs in order to act in the ways that are going to produce the having result. So when you decide I need the money in order to be happy, you may be able to create the money because you're focused on creating the money, and you may be taking the actions that get the result being the money, but that does not have anything to do with the being state of happiness. So you cannot just simply create a state of being by manifesting an external result. And that's why you'll see people who are codependent, for instance. They feel they need a partner to feel fulfilled. And when they get a partner, they still don't feel fulfilled. They still feel a lot of insecurity, inadequacy, neediness. That is not the fulfillment that they believed they would have when they manifested that relationship. So I want to make sure that you are evaluating your beliefs based on this principle and do a little bit of cleanup, do a little bit of refining on those beliefs because many of them are not serving you. Let's talk about the principle in its correct order. When we're talking about a state of being, we're really, again, referring to the foundational work. I'm working on my mindset. I'm working on my beliefs. I'm working on my self-image. I am predominantly positive. I am predominantly goal centric. And what I mean by that is not obsessing over goals, but being focused on what you want to create instead of being focused on the things that you're unfulfilled with. So when you're doing your initial assessment, I want you to think for a moment about something that you would really love to create for yourself in your life or in your business. Most people can think of something relatively quickly. It may be more money. It may be more clients or customers. It may be improving a situation in your life. It might be improving your health or hiring a key employee or whatever it may be. Okay. Now, when you're thinking about that thing that you want to create in your life, you want to have it. Okay. When we talk about beingness, I have to be in vibrational alignment. I have to be congruent with, I have to have the beliefs and expectations that support the actions, the do part, that will align with the having part. Okay. What are your current beliefs and expectations about that thing? So this doesn't mean that you have to spend hours and hours and hours in deep meditation and contemplation and do hours and hours and hours of hypnotherapy and do excessive amounts of releasing work. Being is just that. Who are you being predominantly throughout your day, each and every day of your life? And is that beingness in alignment and congruent with the types of actions that will lead to having what it is that you say it is you want? So if you're telling yourself, I want more money, but you're consistently throughout the day feeling lack, scarcity, fear, you are not being in the right mindset and in the right vibration to take the right types of actions to create what you want to have, which in this example would be more money. So the work, the foundation here is working on your mindset so that you can take the right types of actions that align with having what it is that you want. Now, you'll notice a lot of people are doing to create the having that they want, and their state of being is off, and then their results are skewed. So what we really want to do is we want to look at this as a complete package, the whole picture. We don't just simply want to focus on our state of being. We don't want to just meditate and hope that somehow the clients are magically going to find us, even though we haven't been marketing, we haven't been having any sales conversations, we're not building out our team, we're not getting enough attention to our offering. So we have to be mindful. Am I in the right mindset, in the right state? Do I have the right beliefs and expectations? And am I taking the right actions? And when I say the right actions, that again is piggybacking off of that foundation of your state of being. So think of being as your foundation. Okay, that's at the very bottom of the pyramid, and you're consistently working on that foundation. You're reinforcing your mindset, you're reinforcing your beliefs, you are consistently reinforcing this self-image of yourself as the person who has what you want, who feels the way that you want to feel. And you are doing that all day, every day, whether you're doing it intentionally or you just have surrounded yourself with an environment that continues to reinforce and support that. So that's your foundation. That's the being part. Then above that on the pyramid is the action. And you may have heard massive action, massive action, massive action. And the reason that this is so important is because action is energy in motion. And we live in this vibrational universe. And as physical beings, we are operating within this space time. And it does require that we are operating from within this construct. And that requires action. So if you want to take a drink of water, you're going to have to use your physical body to get up and go and get that water. And you are going to physically be drinking that water. Okay, this is part of this physical manifested universe that we're living in. So action is such an important piece. But again, remember what I just said. Taking a lot of action without the right foundation is going to get you very limited results. And that's where we see a lot of people, may have been yourself, who are working really hard, sort of grinding away to achieve your goals. And it feels tiring, it feels exhausting. And that is because in many cases, you are out of alignment. You have the foundation is not quite right for what you want to create, the having piece. Okay. So now let's just say you're doing all of your inner work and you're doing pretty good. Okay. And of course, you're going to have setbacks. You're going to bump up against some of your old fears, doubts, insecurities, and limiting beliefs. And you've got to work through those things when you do that. But let's just say you're doing pretty good and you're feeding your mind with positive reinforcing things. And you are surrounded by uplifting people who inspire greatness within you. So you are consistently nurturing your being, your foundation, and you are inspired to take massive action. So now you're doing from that more empowering, positive foundation of a beingness that supports what you want to create. And then the third piece, the capstone of your pyramid, so to speak, is going to be having. And that is when you've created enough mass, energetic mass, on what it is that you are intending to create for yourself, that it will materialize in this physical reality as we know it. So we know that we create first in the mind. Nothing happens without an idea. In certain teachings, you will hear the universe is mental. Some may even say, if you've studied some of the more ancient teachings like Hermeticism and things like that, the all is mental. And what they're referring to is sometimes stated as the mind of God. Regardless of what your spiritual or religious beliefs are, all of these things are universal in nature. So what we're talking about here is understanding that as a creator, yourself, creating your life, your business, it starts in the mind. And when you nurture that on that mental plane, that emotional plane, that's that state of beingness that we're referring to. When you are working on alignment within yourself, creating a self-image that starts to become very real and tangible to you. From there, you're going to then be inspired to take these actions. You're going to be motivated to take actions. You will receive ideas and inspiration and guidance that appears to be coming in many cases from outside of yourself, from mentors or trainings or books or whatever it is that you are drawing into your life because of your intentions. And when you are inspired and you're taking all of those actions and you're moving in the direction of creating what it is that you're intending to create for yourself, it is gaining this vibrational mass. And what once was a fleeting little thought, just a tiny little thought, one singular thought, has now amassed more and more and more from all of the thoughts that you keep thinking, all of the actions that you keep taking. And if you think of each of these things as more energy that you are putting into your creation, then you can begin to understand that just like when you are rolling a snowball and you start with something very, very small, as you continue to push that ball of snow along, it is accumulating more snow. So the ball gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Now think of energy this way as well in this creation process. So you started with a singular thought. Wouldn't it be nice if I had X, Y, Z? And you continue to think about it, to focus, to imagine yourself having it, to start to buy books and learn new information. And you started to tell your employees of this new plan or whatever it may be, right? And you're accumulating more energy each and every time you are doing those things, the mental and the doing, okay? The being and the doing. And so now you're creating more and more and more mass. And once you reach sort of this critical mass, that is when the bigger manifestation occurs. So let me just clarify one more thing here. And I know I'm talking very fast, but we're really speaking my language. So I get very excited about this. When you have an idea and then you are inspired to purchase a book, or you have a conversation with someone, and that creates a new idea, a new partnership. And even though you haven't fully realized the full manifestation that you're intending to create for yourself, those things are in fact manifestations, okay? Thoughts are manifestations. Thoughts have vibrational mass. They may be small in comparison to, say, a home that has already been built, because that has had so much energy and thought and action already projected into it to become that physical structure. But it was all those ideas along the way, all of the thoughts, all of the actions that created that physical thing. And it's the same with any goal you set for yourself. So if you're setting a goal for yourself to increase your revenue, we have to take it out of the etheric, out of the wishful thinking, and we have to really start to create a state of being, reinforce the self-image, the thoughts, the beliefs, the expectations that are going to lead to the types of actions that you will be inspired to take to grow your business and therefore increase your revenue. So I want you to evaluate your goals. Anything that maybe you've been struggling to create, a desire that has been long held, that has not fully actualized for you yet. You likely have some work to do on your foundation, on your state of being. There may be limiting beliefs you have to release and let go of. There may be old stories you have to release and let go of. There may be an old self-image that needs to change. As you are consistently working on improving that foundation, your state of being, it is going to create in you, the impulses to take different actions. Maybe some of the same, maybe some of the same with a slightly different mindset. Maybe you've been dabbling a little bit here and there, and maybe you do need to take more action. Whatever your path is right for you, but the formula is always the same. Who do you need to be in order to create, in order to have what you want to have? And if you're just doing the actions and your being is not in vibrational alignment with what it is that you're aspiring to have, go back and make sure you're consistently working on your foundation, your state of being. All day, every day, you're thinking thoughts, you're feeling feelings. Are those thoughts and feelings aligned with what you want to create, or are they not? That's the foundation we're talking about. That's the mindset piece. That's how mindset comes into this whole equation. And that's why you'll hear me or others say mindset really is the biggest piece of the success formula. Because if your beliefs are off, if your thinking is off, your actions are going to be off. And certainly what you are manifesting in your life is not going to be in alignment with something that you're not being. Okay. So if you're negative, you're not going to all of a sudden create a magical life. You're just not. Okay. And you have to clean that up before you can ever expect to see different results. So I hope that this has helped clarify in your mind the importance of doing this in the right sequence, seeing it in the correct way so that you're empowered to clean up any areas where you may be out of alignment.